Hey guys, welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to whip out the slides here so I can give you guys the best effort possible to make this a really good video. After uploading 50,000 plus designs manually, I discovered the strategies that top experts don't necessarily want you to know when it comes down to print on demand. Now you guys know I have a lot of tips and tricks up my sleeve using different software and things. But today we're not going to be talking about softwares. We're not going to be talking about, different strategies. I'm going to give you tips that everybody listening can sit here and do. And they're not going to be motivational kind of stuff. The motivational stuff was in other videos. These are practical tips that you can kind of move forward and use. And these are things that I learned after uploading, like I said, 50,000 designs. Now, I'll break down the designs in a minute. But I actually have way more than 50,000 designs uploaded across all platforms. I just thought 50,000 was a nice round number that kind of works out. But yeah, it's much more than 50,000. So today I'll be sharing those tips, right? So let's go ahead and get started. First, I do want to set the record straight around the counting of the designs. So back in October of 2021, I started this journey where I decided to manually upload 60 designs a day to Redbubble. Now, many of you remember that journey. Some of you don't, because some of you weren't around the channel at that time, and that's perfectly fine. And I would actually talk about the things that I was feeling, the things that I was going through mentally, going through that draining process of uploading 60 designs a day, every single day to Redbubble at the time, but I was doing other things. Now, I actually stayed true to that, and I actually never missed a single day. And honestly, when I first started, I thought I would miss a day. I thought I would miss many days here and there. But I actually did stay relatively consistent. I remember the first time that I wanted to just give up was like around day 63. And I just, stayed up a little extra that night, kept working, and just kept moving forward. Now, if you do the math on that total, that comes out to 21,900 designs, roughly. I mean, it could be plus or minus an extra 200 or less than 200, but close to that number. And that's essentially what I created just from a Redbubble perspective, but I was uploading on other platforms as well. Now, before I even started that journey, I had close to about 9,000 designs uploaded onto Redbubble. I was already making money on Redbubble. I was already doing well. I wasn't doing amazing, but I was doing well. And there's a lot of lessons that I learned, and there's a lot of things that I kind of had to figure out the hard way. There definitely wasn't as many videos prior to 2021 on Redbubble. There are some, but there weren't as much as today. And there weren't actually as many creators as there are today around Redbubble. So basically, what happened was I had 9,000 designs beforehand, created those 22,000 roughly designs, and daily uploading at my max limit. Soon after that, I took a little bit of a break, but I'll talk about that in a minute. But I also had, before the whole challenge, I had about the same of those 9,000 designs across 2 accounts on TeePublic. And I will sit here and be the first to say that that was one of the first mistakes that I've done with TeePublic, is putting a ton of designs on one account. And when I realized that mistake, I went ahead and took this approach of diversity. That's how kind of what helped start this, starting a new store every single month on Redbubble. That way I have my, I guess you could say, my risk divided amongst many different stores. And that actually helped dramatically. And I live by that even till now. When I look at certain Redbubble accounts that I have or certain print-on-demand accounts, I think of the amount of risk that it holds and the amount of profit that it generates, and I don't want to risk that profit, so I do create new stores and new things like that. And I don't always do that with, I don't only do that, with marketplace platforms. I also do that with my websites as well. Now, I had these 2 accounts across TeePublic, but I also had about 5K designs on Society6 at the time. I had an Etsy shop that was doing really well, and soon after I started another Etsy shop. They weren't huge shops, and when I say doing really well, let me explain what I mean. The only way I do Etsy is very simple. I create products that have search demand, and slowly, over time, over the period of 2 to 3 weeks, that design or that product gets its first sale. It's not always a design. Sometimes it is a different kind of digital product. It's very rare, very, very rare where I'll start working on physical products. I definitely want to start next year working on some physical products for Etsy, but I'm not sure. Maybe my perspective and my paradigm will shift and will change by then. We'll see. But regardless, let's go ahead and keep talking. So simultaneously, while doing the 21 or 22,000 designs uploading daily to Redbubble, I was also creating Etsy products, Zazzle designs, Society 6. I was working on Teechip, Teespring, TeePublic, and even a little bit on Merch by Amazon. But at that time, as you guys know, I had a Merch by Amazon account that got banned. I was doing very, very well with Merch by Amazon. Within the first 2 to 3 weeks, I had kept moving up tiers, and I think within a few months, I had up to tier 500. I was generating about $600 to $800 a month with Merch by Amazon, and things were going really, really well. But of course, as you guys know, I kept one day I got fancy. I'm not gonna I made a video on this when I got banned, but essentially I created 30 different dragon type designs, and these 30 different designs, I usually don't do that. I usually create one design and then I put it on the t-shirt, the hoodie, basically everything you could put it on, right? The long sleeve shirt, everything that you tank top, everything you could put it on. But then one day I decided to do something different where I put each of those dragon designs on a t-shirt, right? And so I had 30 different shirts being created, or I think at the time the limit was like 25 or something like that. So I filled up the max, and then one day, like I said, it was on the, I forget what it was called, but it wasn't processing, it was in review, and it was in review for a long time. And as a joke, I kind of thought to myself, I might wake up tomorrow with my account banned, and lo and behold, woke up, and my account indeed was banned. Little did I know that after communicating with Amazon and things like that, I used a keyword called Hydra. That was actually a trademark term, and I had already had a ton of rejections before that, and that was, I guess you could say, the straw that broke the camel's back. But anyways, that was, part of my journey. I'm not mad at it, and it's definitely not something that I'm worried or sad about by any means. The video was there when I got banned, and I actually remember recording at that very moment when the account was banned. I actually told everybody, I said, guys, my account is banned. It's really no big deal. I have other accounts. I have other things on different platforms that I make money off of, so I really have nothing to worry about. So what you're looking into, guys, is the brain of someone who has success on many different platforms, but has also failed and even banned on Merch by Amazon. So I've learned a lot. So let's go ahead and continue. Now, to be clear, I did take a break after the year of uploading. I don't want to say I was burnt out, but I really kind of was. It's not something I kind of want to admit, but I was a little bit burnt out. I still continued to upload, but my break was just uploading less than 60. Soon after my break kind of ended, Redbubble kind of started updating their policies, and one of the policies that they updated is they limited the 60 design limit to 30 designs. Now, this is in reference to Redbubble. I was still uploading on other platforms, but I just wanted to taper the Redbubble work down a bit. At this point in time, I had already trained for about maybe 5 to 6 months my virtual assistants around working on other platforms and Redbubble simultaneously. I had about 4 virtual assistants. Now I have about 5. One is on and off, so I don't really consider him a virtual assistant. He's just still learning still. So I have about 5 for now. And I'll make a video, by the way, in the future, if you guys are interested, on how I set up the whole entire process behind the virtual assistants, how I find them, how much I pay them, etc. I'll go into that if you guys are interested. If you're not interested, it's okay. I won't talk about it. But anyways, let's go ahead and continue. So, once again, Redbubble started changing as a platform, but Etsy really was the first one. It kind of first broke the news by changing its fees. In fact, if you want to go look back in time in the YouTube archives, you can see they changed their fees. They're charging people more fees, and this has not been nothing out of the norm. They've been doing this for a little while now, and every maybe 9 to 10, even maybe 16, 15 months, Etsy will come out with a fee change, and this has been happening for like the past 3 years. Redbubble kind of announced that, they're going to have a tier system. Society 6, they also let their customers know that in the future, they are going to make some sort of system to where they make more money off of their sellers. These were all things that kind of came into play with the way people started viewing print on demand. TeePublic followed suit behind Redbubble and started, doing the exact same thing. Now, TeePublic and Redbubble are owned by the exact same company, right? Redbubble bought TeePublic, and a lot of the algorithmic control that we see TeePublic have is starting to be implemented on Redbubble. That's probably a different video for a different time, but this is, once again, something that's been going on. They've added their tier system, so essentially you're seeing this kind of theme of money being sucked out of sellers a little bit more. And that led to an obvious response. People started thinking print on demand was going downhill, especially with marketplace platforms. And I even had a push to try to encourage some of you guys to start creating your own websites. And I showed different platforms that you could join, and I'll still do those in the future, right? Because maybe not Shopify is for everybody. I do have a full entire Shopify guide, a playlist. I think it has 18 videos on it, and each video is anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. So you could think probably maybe like a good 5 to 8 hours of just content around Shopify, creating your store, etc. So it's there on my YouTube channel if you want to check it out. But anyways, so with all these changes, a lot of people thought it was it. And, I just kept working. I never really quit, and I learned a lot of things in the meantime. So I'll just kind of share with you everything that seemed to me that relatively important. And to start off, I want to talk about the ostrich effect. This is the first tip, the first strategy, the first whatever you want to call it, that leaned to my success. And we're going to start with sobering reality, which is avoiding the ostrich effect. Now, what is the ostrich effect? The reality is people who are watching this video right here, right now, probably have some sort of experience with print on demand, whether it be a year, whether it be 5 years, whether it be 10 years, whether it be a month. It doesn't matter. You have some sort of experience. And with your experience, you know where you're succeeding and where you're failing. You know what are the problems, and you have to address those specific problems in your business. Instead, many people, the overwhelming majority, maybe about, if I had to guess, over 80%, engage in ostrich behavior every day. And what do? They see the problem in the distance, and they stick their head in the sand because they want to ignore that problem. They want to make believe that that problem doesn't actually exist, and I'll explain. If you have a problem, you have to define what that problem is. Do you have not enough sales? Well, let's go deeper into the rabbit hole. Do you not have enough traffic? Do you not have enough quantity of designs? Do you not have enough quality of designs, right? What are the problems? You have to define the problems, and then you have to figure out how you can fix the reason why that problem is occurring. So for me personally, one of the things that I had a problem with in the very beginning of my 60 designs a day, everyday journey, is that things were taking a little bit of time, right? And I noticed, I said, I can't keep going forward like this. I have to create a system to allow me to speed my work up. What can I do? One of the first thoughts immediately I had in my head was hiring a virtual assistant. Now, that was good for the future, but right now I have to perform. I have to work. So that's where I created the concept of the uploading strategy. And my uploading strategy, I have what's called a 3-step system where I create designs very, very quickly. I cut down the time to cut designs where, remind you, I'm designing and uploading. So I'm doing both. So the first thing I have to do is I have to design. In order for me to design, I have to have a system. I can't sit there and start thinking about, oh, well, does this look good or does that look good? Unless I'm doing a one-off design. And usually the one-off designs are not included in my 60 designs per day uploading strategy. Now, mind you, once again, I had to define my core root issue. Everybody has to sit here and define their own core issues. One thing you could do is you look at your sales. Are you getting sales? Are you getting any sales? Are you getting some sales? Are you getting not enough sales? Right? Most people would probably want more sales. Okay? If that's the core issue, you have to look, okay, what is the problem? Is it my traffic or is it my designs in terms of the quality of my designs? Meaning, if you have let's just say 100 designs on your Redbubble store, and they're all good-looking designs, and you're getting traffic, then therefore you should get sales. But if you're getting traffic, you have 100 designs, and when I say traffic, let's just say you're getting 1,000 visits a week, okay? For 100 designs, which is, it's fair. It's not the best, but it's fair, okay? 1,000 visits a week, okay, to your designs. Are those 1,000 visits a week generating you a conversion rate of, let's say, 3 to 5%? What are the sales like? If that's not happening, then you probably have a quality problem, right? And sometimes, by the way, guys, sometimes people conflate quality and market research. So sometimes I might be posting a design for a certain niche, but the niche of that design is not looking for the type of design that I'm creating, right? So that still ropes into a quality problem, because you want to take the problems and cut them down into the simplest form. So for me, when we're talking about print-on-demand marketplaces, we're talking Redbubble, Zazzle, all these kind of things, you only have two problems. You either have a traffic generation problem or you have a quality problem or a resonance problem. Resonance just means, does the design resonate with the individual? Is it ugly? Is it in the right niche? Etc. So let's just say I don't get any traffic. Well, then in that case, I have a traffic problem. Well, what are the things that control the traffic, right? Well, my SEO, my titling, my tagging. These are elements that control my traffic. So I would have to fix those problems. And I actually created a course for both of these problems, right? If you have a design problem and you're slow when it comes down to designing, I have so many people who complain to me saying, I can't do even 10 designs a day. How on earth are you doing 60 at the time? How are you doing that? Well, I created the design course for that. I'll leave the link in the description. If you are having a traffic problem, you have to look at your traffic and you have to compare it to the amount of designs you have. If your designs are not getting traffic, there's a few things there. Your title is probably messed up, your tags are probably messed up, and the niches that you're picking are probably messed up to begin with, right? And I actually broke it down to the point where I don't even need to do niche research like that anymore. I used to sit there before my, uploading daily journey. I used to sit there and I used to research certain niches. I could spend an hour, 2 hours, and then start uploading to it. And that was okay. Like I said, I did well before uploading daily, but I didn't break records. I wasn't doing as well as I could have wanted. And I certainly wasn't doing well enough to worry about the risk of creating really, really large stores. And this is something you guys have to realize as well. The only time I started worrying about risk with my stores is when they were actually generating enough to where I actually started to worry. I said, wow, I have something here to lose now. I got to start focusing on how to protect this. And that's what I did moving forward. So the point here is that do not engage in ostrich effect. Everybody here has issues in their business. You wouldn't be human. Do I experience ostrich effect? Absolutely. I have problems and sometimes I ignore them. But I'm actually on a personal mission to try to fix all those problems in my life, aside even from print on demand. Print on demand is just one of many, right? I wake up every day. I'm a firefighter. I'm turning off fires every single day. Now I'm not saying literally. I don't actually work as a firefighter. I'm speaking from a metaphysical perspective. Every single day I'm waking up with fires, with problems, and I have to figure out how to fix them. And some of these fires are not going to go away unless I'm just keep banging on it every single day, working towards it to fix it every single day. So the point here is that everybody experiences problems, but you can choose to either put your head in the sand like the ostrich and just imagine that they've disappeared because you don't see them, or you can tackle them head on. If you tackle them head on, you have a better chance of actually succeeding and pushing past the pain. And once you do that once, just once, and you gain some sort of success, that is the beginning of rewiring your brain, because every single time you have a problem, you do not want to associate problems with negativity. You want to associate problems with future success, and that's kind of how it goes. So that's kind of the first tip. Let's go ahead and head over to the second tip. So retarget customers and traffic. So to be clear, retargeting is one of the most powerful things I've ever done in my life when it comes to business. Even when I had no idea what I was doing with my very, very first business, I was doing retargeting and I was making money for pennies on the dollar. And I'll explain what I mean. First of all, did I spell this wrong? No. Okay. Anyways, if you have your own website, and notice here, we're giving you tips from marketplace platforms and having your own website. So these are both kind of tips here. If you have your own website, you should be doing retargeting. Now, what is retargeting? It's very simple. You're going to go to an ad platform. So an ad network, you got Facebook, you got TikTok, you got whatever. You pick whatever creative platform you want to use. Okay, you have Google, so many. I mean, you could just do a basic Google search, right? Pinterest, so on. And what you're going to do is you're going to show the ad to the people who've already seen your products. Now, here's the good thing. If you sell in a marketplace, there's a good chance this already happens. These multi-million-dollar companies, I'll give you an example, Redbubble, definitely does do this. For example, go to your computer, make sure you have no ad block on, and just click on some random designs on Redbubble. And then a few days later, go on like a blog or something where ads typically pop up, like some sort of article, and just look through the article, and you're actually going to see ads of the products that you once clicked on in Redbubble. That's not by coincidence. That's essentially what a retargeting ad is. You're showing to the consumer the product that you showed interest in before. And as retargeters, as advertisers, we can control the individual, and we can control specifically what they want to see because we have indicators. We know what they want to see. We know what they're interested in. So we tell the software, the advertising software, hey, I want to target the group of people who showed interest to this product or that product or whatever the case may be. And you show them the ad, and then it reminds them of the product, and then they go and purchase the product, right? And this is another one of those things that traffic is important, right? So the more traffic you have, the better flow you're creating for retargeting, and that makes you more money over, down the line over time. So that's a big deal, and that helps you dramatically. And once again, if you're on a marketplace platform like Redbubble, you don't necessarily have to worry about these things. And this is also why Redbubble takes a lot of income from you, and on not just Redbubble, but other platforms as well. That's why they take a lot of money from you from the profit side. You don't make that much is because they're handling a lot of these issues for you. All right, so let's keep it going. So that was tip number 2, okay? I think I actually mentioned this here, but you can go to Facebook, for example, and you get a pixel. A pixel is basically a script or a code snippet. You're going to take that, you're going to copy it, and you're going to paste it into the header or the head code into your website. When you do that, Facebook will then track users' behavior. What you can also do is you can set up something called custom conversions. And basically what that is basically you're tracking every individual's behavior on every page, and you're defining the value of every page. So if I have a cart page, that is the value of that page is that a product is added to the cart, right? If I have a checkout page, that means the consumer went to the checkout. So they've surpassed the cart threshold. If there's a thank you page, what does that mean? That means the customer has passed the cart, the checkout, and has finally reached the thank you, meaning they've successfully purchased. So that's a conversion. And then what you do is you set a value of your average order value for the conversion. And when that happens is like, okay, you can start tracking the average order, right? The value of the order, okay, against how much you spent. And what you need is an X ROAS. An X ROAS means an X meaning a multiplier of the return on ad spend. So this is like literally my first time. I've been doing good with ads for a long time now. I spent a lot of money running ads, but just yesterday, the day before, something like that, basically in the past 2 days, I have gotten to the point where I've reached the penny club. And what the penny club is when you spend an ad per view, right? You're spending 1 penny per view. That dramatically increases my return on ad spend, guys, especially for my website. Now, before, you have to remember, I wasn't at this point. I wasn't at this level. I was at the point where I'm spending 70 cents per view, 20 cents per view, 15, and it gradually went down. It got to the point when I first started and I knew nothing about advertising. I was spending $11, $12, $6, $5, and it drastically started decreasing. So the penny club, well, it's actually a club, like it's a thing. And Yeah, if you join it's kind of like, you know what it's like? Imagine if you're a weightlifter and you join the 1,000 pound club. You know, it's like, yeah, you've worked out for a really long time. You're you're physically strong, physically fit, etc., and you can do those things. So it's kind of similar. But anyways, let's go ahead and keep it going. Number 3, dominate small niches. Now this advice here is good for both the marketplace platforms and the website platform. Sorry, I'm looking at my phone as I speak here. But basically, what happens here is that you have niches on Redbubble, on Zazzle, on all these different platforms, right? All these different platforms. And even on your own website, Google has niches. And the way I look at a niche, whatever you want to call it, is a keyword. Every keyword represents a niche. Okay? So for example, if I have the keyword Bengal tiger, that is a niche. The word tiger individualized is its own niche, separate from Bengal tiger. Even though they're similar, from a results standpoint, they are different. That's why I look at niches different and keywords different. Every single keyword is a niche. This is something I teach in the Redbubble SEO course. I'm very specific about this, and any user who's joined that course can vouch for what I'm talking about. I talk heavily about this. Every single keyword represents a niche. And the reason why it does is because the results are going to be different. If I go on Redbubble and I search Bengal tiger, it's going to give me different results than if I just search tiger. Now, there might be some overlap, but that does not mean they're the same. The point here is that what you want to do, and this is a tip, and I found this to be almost a guarantee to make sales. When you have a niche, okay, what you can do is you can dominate that niche. And I've actually made videos on this. But what does dominating a niche actually look like? When the niche has, let's say, 35 designs, in a matter of 3 days, I can dominate that niche. Why? Because if it has 33 designs and I can upload 90 designs in 3 days, well then the total amount of designs is 120. And my designs are 90 out of 120, right? Now, of course, you're going to have some creativity to create 90 designs in one niche, but that's your problem. You have to figure that out. I've dealt with this all the time. I get so many comments of people saying, well, how do I create 90 designs in one niche? That's like a Squidward question. You guys know Squidward from SpongeBob? Like, come on. That's something you have to figure out for yourself, right? And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just being honest. It's just straight up a Squidward question. So really what you have to do is you have to get creative and you create the designs. Why? Because if you know the niche is making money and there's a guarantee that people will eventually search that keyword or be brought to that keyword via Google or Redbubble or whatever, then that means your designs in majority are going to show up compared to the competition. And if they're showing up in majority, what does that mean? It means statistically you have the probability to receive the sale over the competitor. Mind you, if the whole entire niche is 120 designs and you own 90 of the designs, that means you have a, what is that, like a 90 out of 120? What is that, like a 75%, 66% chance? Something like that. You have a 75%, 70% chance of making the win from a sales standpoint. What this is also going to do, it's going to train you, right, to create better quality designs, and it's going to force you to be more creative because you're going to have to look for new ways to represent the product. Now, mind you, that is a different strategy than what we teach in the design course. In the design course, we specifically teach creating all kinds of niches with a similar concept, but all kinds of niches so that those designs, almost like a spider web or almost like a fishnet, are being cast in different areas. Okay, that's a different approach. We're talking about, let's just say, for example, you out of doing the design course, you created 60 designs one day, 30 designs, whatever the number is. You did them quickly, and they were all in different niches. You get a sale, right, or in the niche of the sub niche. Anyways, you get a sale in one of those products. Okay. That's when you go and search what derived you to get that sale, the keywords. You have to do the research. After that, you then see, okay, this niche has X amount of designs. here is where I can go all out. It's just a rinse and repeat formula. Now let's kind of relate this. We already talked about the marketplace. Let's relate this to website building. If you have your own website and you're building out your website for a print-on-demand store, how do you dominate a niche? It's very simple. You're going to do some SEO keyword research. You're going to search the search demand of that keyword, and you're going to search the search demand for all related keywords, okay? There's millions of search softwares, keywords, tools. There's millions of them, but you need to be able to use them. And then what you're going to realize is you're going to realize the pool of opportunity, right? And you're going to say, okay, I have to create designs to make sure that I rank somehow, some way, and be seen for all these related keywords. So what do? You create content, you create blogs, you create products, you create all these different things. Remember, a blog and a product are the same in Google's eyes. It's content. That's why they all rank on Google equally. Okay, now granted, they do have separate places where they're ranked on Google. So for example, on Google, you have the Google Merchant Center where products can pop up, Google Shopping, etc. But nonetheless, they can still all pop up on Google. Google doesn't, selectively pick one or the other. It just picks what's the best for the end consumer, the end user. So you have to create content, whether it be product pages or sales pages or blog pages, whatever the case may be, to get people to view you, and you have to make sure you show up for every single one of those keywords. And part of that is doing the SEO and the keyword research, all right? So that is dominating the niche. You have to dominate small niches. You have to, all right? Let's go ahead and move forward. Number 4, this is a basic tip, but you would be surprised how many people overlook this and just completely ignore it. Try to stand out on a marketplace platform when you are not dominating, when you cannot dominate. I'll explain. Everybody here listening knows their own ability. Some niches, there are 255 designs. You know that the niche can potentially make you money, but you don't have the gumption and you don't have the desire to want to create 600 designs or 300 or 500 designs in that niche. You know you don't. So if you are choosing actively not to dominate a niche, which is perfectly fine, it's not like a law, it's not like you have to do it, just more money for me anyway. When you're choosing not to do it, right, what can you do instead? You can choose to stand out. Imagine you have a lineup of 30 gray cars, right? But you have one yellow one right in the middle. It doesn't matter actually where the car is in the middle, in the front, and the back. It's easily to point out. Why? Because it's a different color. It stands out. The point is you have to figure out how to make your design stand out. It could be a certain element. It could be a certain color. It could be a certain size that you're bringing. It could be a certain font. Whatever it is, you need to make it happen. It could be a graphic. Once again, this is not a design course, so I'm not going to go too deep into it. But something you could do is you can assess the competition. You just look. You search the keyword, and you look at all the different designs. When you look at all the different designs, you have to create a unique design that will stand out. And once again, you have to figure out what it's going to take to create a design that potentially can stand out. It could be size, it could be color, it could be whatever the case may be. It might be multiple things. It might not be just color or just size. It might be graphic plus size plus color plus whatever. You need to make sure you stand out. And if you create something that stands out, guess what? You're more likely to be seen. You're increasing your probability, right? And then you're creating more sales. Remember, probability is an indicator of success. It is not a guarantee, but it's an indicator. And we don't talk about potential. We talk about probable, right? Is there a potential that you can get a sale looking like everybody else as a design? You absolutely can. But who sits here and who calculates for potential? Why not calculate for probability, for most likely, right? You would want the most likely outcome. You wouldn't want what's possible. You want what's most likely, all right? So any person who's out here selling print on demand, ask yourself this. Is my design standing out in the marketplace? Now, this is really a tip for marketplace-based platforms more than having your own website. If you were to compare this to having your own website, you need to stand out from a meta description perspective. Let me explain. In the SEO world, we have titles, we have meta descriptions. The meta description is basically the description under the URL and the handle and the slug that basically describes what is on that page. And you as a creator of any website, pretty much all softwares allow you to edit the meta description. The meta description, Google states, is one of the key indicators that actually helps organic traffic get clicks, because people read the meta description, they decide whether they want to move forward into clicking that link or not. Some people do, some people don't. The point is that Google is telling you meta descriptions matter. So what you have to do as a website owner is you have to audit every single meta description you have for every single product, create better meta descriptions that contribute to clicking, click factor, click-through rates. And this is measurable. You can create a Google Search Console account, you link your website to Google Search Console, and you get your click-through rate. You go, you create the audit, you record your old click-through rate, you create the audit, you create the change, right? And then you wait until the audit is updated, the website's updated, and over time, your click-through rate should change. Now, whether it changes for the negative or the positive, that's going to be your indicator as to how good the meta description is. For obvious reasons, if your click-through rate goes down, then obviously you changed it for the bad. So you need to figure that out. But the point is that you have to make your listings stand out. The same way the people on the marketplace are trying to make their design stand out, you have to make your listings on Google stand out as well. All right, let's go ahead and continue. So, number 6, make titling a priority. Titles control SEO. So we spoke about this I think I forgot one of the tips, but anyways, it is what it is. Make titling a priority. When you're sitting on Google, right? When you're using Google, right? Google only knows what to rank based on the titles and the URL handles, and then it checks the content to see if the content is good enough to allow the site to rank. Now, I'm mentioning just a couple ranking factors here. There's over 233 ranking factors. But one of the most powerful, and there's no question that some ranking factors are more powerful than others, is your titling, your SEO titling. Now, this is a tip that works for both marketplace sellers and website owners, okay? If you're selling on a marketplace, we spoke about this in the SEO Redbubble tagging course dramatically, your priority is to find keywords for titles and place them that have search demand in a competitive field that you can actually succeed in, okay? It cannot be a search term that's getting 50,000 searches a month. That's idiotic. You're not going to rank for that. But it's got to be for different terms. So what you have to do is you have to find the right terms that you need to rank for, and you're going to utilize them in your Redbubble to, not just Redbubble. This is for all marketplace platforms. Using Redbubble as an example. You could also do this with Merch by Amazon, Zazzle, TeePublic, the whole thing. Even your own website, right? For the guys who are having their own website, the guys and the ladies who have their own websites, the people who run the marketplace platforms, whatever you're doing, you have to realize that the title contributes dramatically to SEO success. And so if you want organic traffic, if you want somebody to Google something, like, for example, Chinese Bengal tiger shirt, right? You need to make sure your design pops up partially by controlling the title. So the title is important. And you have to think that takes research. That takes Google keyword research. Now, over time, this is the good news. Over time, the more research you do, the better feel and the better understanding you're going to get of consistent search volumes. Okay, so you're going to have over time a predictive ability. You're going to be like, I predict a search volume between X and Y, and you're going to be able to do that. And so that's going to help you over time find the right keywords faster. In the beginning, you're going to just have to go through the process the same way everyone else does, figuring it out. So definitely make your titling a priority. Let's go to the next tip. Okay, here's one of the tips that might rub people the wrong way. But I'm specifically speaking to the marketplace platform people. If you're on Redbubble, if you're on TeePublic, if you're on Zazzle, if you're on Etsy, actually, Etsy is a little off because Etsy is different. You can pay for ads. You can make things happen with Etsy. Etsy is a little bit different. Put it this way, okay? Trends on marketplace platforms won't make you successful, and I'll explain. You can make money with trends, but you're not going to get rich, and I'll explain. You are on a consistent hamster wheel when you are searching trends. If you are an active trend hunter, if you're one of those type of people that look for the trends and you're creating for the trends, you have to realize that the trends, I think I actually created something like this. Here it is, okay? The trend looks like this, okay? Day one, okay, is normal traffic day. You might have a traffic of like 15, 18, whatever visitors. It's normal, okay? And you have to realize before the trend spike happens, that day one and day two, that's pretty much the same every single day before then, right? Before this was ever a trend, right? Like negative days, like before this, right? This trend search volume is pretty much the same all year round, okay? When a trend comes to happen, it shoots up to the moon like this. There's a very short window in time where you can actually capitalize on a trend. 99% of you watching this will never capitalize on trends. I'm just going to keep it real. 99% of you will never. And the reason why is because you're catching the trend way too late. You're catching it on the down end. By the time you find out about the trend, people have already capitalized on it. You're sitting there, you're thinking you're going to make money, you start making trend designs, and you don't score anything. Now, I'm not saying that it's impossible, okay? I want you to understand what I'm saying here. There is potential, but it's not probable. We as sellers do not want to go for potential. We want to go for probability. I have the potential to fly out of the 15th floor building if I strap on some wings. That does not mean I'm going to survive. I don't have the probability that I will survive, right? I don't know how many examples I can give to this, but basically, just because there's a potential for something doesn't mean that it's likely going to happen for you. So you have to ask yourself, right? You know what? I'll just play the lottery here. Mega Millions, okay? Is somebody going to win? Yes, somebody's going to win. Do you have the probability that you're going to win? Absolutely not. Even though somebody's going to win, doesn't matter how much you play, you do not have the chance, or I don't want to say the chance, the fighting chance that you're likely going to win. I've advised this since the beginning of my print-on-demand journey, is that you do not want it. You do not want to search a trend. You want something that has consistent search volume. I would much rather take a niche, right, that has 40 search volume a month, right, than post on trends every single day. I can almost guarantee you I'm not going to make any money on trends. The only way you can catch a trend is if you're starting somewhere here. If you start somewhere here, the trend moves up. I'll tell you one of the times that I caught a trend and I truly made some really good money. Way before the Ukraine war with Russia and all this kind of stuff, I was posting merchandise for different countries. You know, Ukraine, Russia, Germany, whatever, okay? Just so happened that one of the niches that I was creating for was Ukraine. Like Ukraine Pride, I love Ukraine is the best, etc. This niche was not populated at all. Maybe like 70 competitors at most, right? And they were all posting like one or two designs, like almost nothing, right? I came in, of course, as I do, as I teach you guys, and I came in and created about 1,800 designs. Now, with those 1,800 designs, you have to also keep in mind that they were also posted on other sites. And within, let's say, maybe 7 months, 6 months, I woke up to one random day. This was when the war started. I mean, hundreds of sales. We're talking hundreds. And that wasn't by luck. That was a trend catching. Did I plan to catch this trend? No, I didn't plan to catch this trend at all, okay? But I made a lot of money. And it was, at first, I actually started making sales before I even caught on what happened in the news. I didn't know that there was a war going on. I was busy. I'm working every day. I don't watch TV, okay? And so about a day later, I kind of figured out why. But the point is that I had caught the trend much earlier. My designs existed much earlier before the whole trend happened. So I woke up to so many sales. We're talking about hundreds over the period of time. Now, granted, as time went on, more and more competitors started entering the market, as people do, because like I said, by the time they find out about it, it's already too late. So everybody's now swarming the market. Everybody's uploading their 1 to 5 designs. They're uploading, let's say, 2 designs, 4 designs, 5 designs, whatever, and they're thinking they're going to get somewhere. But the real winners were the ones who started in the beginning, right? So those guys uploading 1 to 5 designs, yeah, they might get a sale here and there, but it's not probable. Most likely it's not going to happen. But in the beginning, when it actually mattered, the people who capitalized the most are the ones who started from the beginning. So this is my point here, right? If you want to catch a trend, you have to have a strategy to be able to do that in the very beginning. Now, I did share a video on how to do that. Most people are not going to be able to. I'm just going to keep it real. They're just not going to be able to. It takes a lot of focus, takes a lot of energy. You might as well gamble, okay? If you want to make consistent sales, you have to create a catalog or a portfolio of an amalgamation, a collection of designs that are actively being searched each and every, I'm not even going to say day, each and every month, each and every week. There has to be search volume for that, all right? So keep that in mind, all right? That's it for this video, okay? Hopefully these 7 tips penetrated your brain. Hopefully they're going to actually make an impact. And hopefully, more importantly, for the people that watch this video and actually enjoyed it, right? You can come back to this video when you forget about these tips, when you feel demotivated, uninspired, feel like you're getting off the path. Motivation is only for so long. It's fleeting, okay? But you can come back, you can watch this video, and you can boost yourself up. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I have no idea how long. 47 minutes. Wow, that's a really long video. Speaking of videos, if you guys want to see how I created this design, check out the link in the description to my second channel. I kind of went over it in my last video, and if you like it, let me know, okay? I'll talk to you guys later. I'll leave the links in the description to the second channel, along with the 2 Redbubble courses, and I'll see you guys soon, all right? Peace out. Bye.